And I am pleased to welcome to the 2025 edition of Statehouse Conversations, State Senator Andy Zay, a Republican from Huntington, Indiana, District 17 to be precise. Thanks for taking time. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to be back with you again.
A lot on your plate, you and your colleagues. You know, got to have a budget. We'll stipulate that.
Yeah.
But I'm reminded when I do these conversations, there are 150 different agendas and issues that are important to constituents. What do you specifically want to see happen this session? What are some of the bills that you put your name to?
Well, I managed to come up with 13 good ideas, as I call them, and four, I would say, high.
Lucky 13.
Yeah, four high priorities, and you know, it's an exciting year. And coming from Northeast Indiana, Huntington, Wabash, and Grant County specifically, you know, we got to shout a little louder, and we got to be a little more persistent to try and get some of the money out of Central Indiana and invest it in our parts. And you know, two bills I'm really excited about in that behest is one is working with the BEAD program, which is the federal rural broadband rollout now. Those funds are ready to hit the street here in the next 6 weeks or so with 3 granting processes where that'll all be committed, I believe, before we're done with session by April or May. And
that's an issue that became so important we saw during COVID when people were doing everything remotely. I mean,
well,
kids who didn't have access were at a distinct disadvantage.
Absolutely. I mean, you're looking at healthcare, you're looking at education, and really what we're beginning to see, even in our neck of the woods, is the remote work where folks are coming really from all over the country and landing in Indiana because of our quality of life and our quality of life initiatives that we have. And you know, but they still need that access to the internet to be able to do their work and do those things. So what I'm working with is working with the utilities, working with the broadband providers to make sure we can have hopefully a smooth rollout. And the consternation always comes to the pole attachments and that. So when those issues come up as they begin the implementation and the execution of that, we want to have some processes in place when disagreements occur so they're not happening in people's front yards, so we can get those done behind the scenes and get those rolled out. Because we've been working, 5-6 years now with the state commitment on that, but that rollout is over that time. We're now looking at doing this, the funding at least, in 3 months, 4 months.
Right.
So we're going to have this on hyper, and it's going to need the attention.
Some others, yeah.
The second bill along with that is we have some great initiatives that we've been working on in Wabash, Indiana. As a county, they have collectively, with all their small towns, including Wabash City, have come together with a 85-point strategic investment plan. And they've hired somebody to implement that. And really what I'm trying to do is make that accessible to all the rural counties in the state of Indiana. So we are setting up the framework for that, what that would look like, what that accountability would look like in getting that started, but then also creating a funding source on the backside through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, which is unique to have state funds in there. That's usually federal pass-through funds. And that'll create some granting opportunities to make those investments as the counties define those strategic investments.
And I know also on that long 13-part agenda, what'd you call it, the success agenda? I forget, you had a good name for it.
Yeah.
But one of them would be about revenue generation for your part of the state, which would involve the moving of a license, casino license. Talk about that.
Yeah,
too.
my first endeavor intimately into the gaming world. But as gaming licenses go, we have, I believe, 13 of them in the state. And that statute was written many years ago when we first got into this. It was any movement of licensure has to come before the legislature. So I'm sponsoring one. There's 3 of them kind of nearby down in Lawrenceburg. So the penetration of that market is, you know, very fluid. So this one license wants to move to New Haven, Indiana. Steve McMichael up there has worked hard to do a lot for his community, bring in destination, bring in economic development, and we've worked together on other issues. So I'm standing up to support him on that.
Toledo has one now, so I'm guessing that's not, as the crow flies, too far. I'm guessing there's some Hoosiers going.
Not too far, but as the layout of casinos, it's you know, it'll be really on its own within an hour and a half of multiple destinations, Toledo, Michigan, and a few in Indiana. But there's a good opportunity, a good engagement. 1.5 million visitors is what's projected. And you know, that's really the kind of tourism, kind of economic development drivers that we're looking for in our area.
That is almost as many visitors as the Vice Presidential Museum in your hometown of Huntington gets on an annual basis.
Oh, I think they would love to get that, but no.
That's where the casino could go. I don't think that would happen.
No.
What else? I don't want to cut you short. Maybe if you don't want to, I'm not going to hold you accountable to all 13. But are there others before I let you go and get back to the business of the state that you?
Well, there's small bills. I got a little one involving school intimidation, which is the threats on schools, upping that so we get a little bit beyond misdemeanors so kids understand the gravity of making those threats. Because when the schools get those threats, they have to shut down. But right now our police and our prosecutors don't have the capacity to hold them for any period of time. I'm working with Marion, Indiana. They got a food and beverage tax they want to bring in to reinvest in their downtown community. So I'm working with Mayor Ronnie Morrell there, who's doing some nice things in Grant County and Marion, and continue to just advocate for the communities that I serve in Northeast Indiana. And at the end of the day, obviously working with my colleagues to put out a balanced budget and stick to the disciplines we have with the reserves. So I do have a huge along the lines of budgeting, pharmacy benefit manager bill to rework how we do the state in regards to drug allocation for pharmaceuticals, and I think we have a great opportunity to have great savings for the state, which I'm sure my budget folks will love.
You've carved out a pretty busy session for yourself, I'd say.
We've hit the ground running. I already have one through committee. I got 2 more on the calendar next week, so we'll have a pretty steady flow of activity.
You may be at the end of the line alphabetically, but when it comes to rankings of hardworking, I'd say you're pretty close to the top.
Well,
Senator
thank you
Andy
very
Zay
much.
of Huntington, Indiana, I thank you for taking time to chat with us about the session, and I applaud your commitment to Indiana and to public service.
Thank you very much.